Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of our Star Wars celebration. And this time, we are watching one of the greatest movies to be ever created on celluloid film, Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back.
The Star Wars continues in the sequel Empire Strikes Back, where Luke Skywalker, Leia, Han Solo, and Chewie face off against the Empire on the icy planet Hoth. Escaping, Luke searches for the Jedi Master named Yoda in order to train himself in the Force. Meanwhile, his friends face Darth Vader, who is looking to trap Luke into the clutches of the dark side. So overall, Everett, what did you think about the movie?
I think that this is one of the greatest movies ever made. One of the finest films of all time.
Which you fell asleep through at the end.
But that's because I needed to take a nap. That has nothing to do with what I think about the film. I think this film is superb on every level. It's simple, but it's complex. It's beautiful, but it's ugly.
Choose. Why don't you choose?
Yeah, I love it. I love this film. There's no words for me to say how much I love this film. What about you?
I love this film too, but I have words to say. No, I think I agree with you that there is a kind of you have mentioned it before to me that it's not a typical way of making a movie in terms of story structure. Just that it starts off with a really big battle scene that's usually reserved at the final act.
The third act. Yeah, this movie really tears apart those expectations of what a adventure movie is supposed to be. Back in the 70s, if you made a sequel and it was just like the first one, no one would go and see it. So they just totally blow that apart. There is no first act, really. There is no second act. There is no third act. It just happens, and it happens beautifully, and it's great.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons they also do that is because, like what you said, going back to sequels, you already established a little bit of what these characters were from the first movie, so you jump right into a big battle scene, and then you just allow these characters to develop in the rest of the movie.
You know, it seems like with sequels, sometimes they develop new problems. And now they got to get over that. These problems are developed from the first one, so we already know Han and Leia it's believable that they're in love because you saw that develop in the first one. You see Luke growing into a man, and you know that was already happening in the first one, and that's brilliant the way that they just said fuck it, and we're just gonna start the movie now wherever we want it to start, and that's what they did.
I guess we have already started talking about character development already. No. You have mentioned Han and Leia, but let's just jump in again with Han and Leia. Well, now we're diving more into their dynamics, right? That sexual tension between scenes it's very, very visible, and on the ice planet Hoth, when he's about to leave or supposedly leave, and she's just staring at him for like so many shots. They did that so well, like how the camera worked. Shot, she's always looking. Shot, she's always looking. Even
when they're looking away from each other.
But they're always
checking
looking
up on each other.
And so then he asked her, "Why do you want me to stay?" And she's like, "You go. You're just a good fighter." And she's like, "There has to be another reason."
And never once did he ever say, "My love for you is burning me."
Yeah.
I'm haunted by the kiss that you should never have given me.
Yeah.
Inside so
because he didn't have to.
It
was mostly all body language and like chemistry on set
and facial expressions, and that's like us with real characters do.
And he didn't even say it when she said it to him. When he got encased in carbonite, she was like, "I love you," and he said,
"I know." But that's because he didn't really want to commit, maybe. Like he was like, "Well, if I get out of here, I might have a couple other people I want to fuck around with." So you can't tell her that because then she'll be expecting too much, you know. So.
Anyways, on to Luke. Luke's character is now he is a commander. He's a commander of his own troops of people, so he has more of a leadership role. But there's something missing, and that something that he's missing
is the other half of his face.
Oh. I meant character-wise. What is he missing? Like, as in, would that makes him go seek Yoda?
Well, his only connection to his father and his destiny as a Jedi is dead, and so he needs someone to guide him in the ways of the Force. Luke's master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, tells him to...
This is the same shit.
You say it. Luke's master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, tells him to go to the Dagobah system to go seek Yoda so that he can continue his training to become a Jedi Knight. And that's when we're introduced to one of the greatest characters in this movie, Yoda. Remember that part in the movie when Luke Skywalker landed and Yoda brought out his lightsaber and they started fighting for 20 minutes? And then Luke said, I guess our master of the Force will not determine this battle. And then
You're
Yoda,
pushing this to, like, just let the fucking shit go. Okay? God.
Remember when Luke Skywalker was like, what you want to do, bro? And Yoda was like, what you want to do, bro? And they just started going in each other's face like, what you want to do, bro?
Yes, I would agree with you that Yoda is more contained as he's more of a sage kind of person or a hermit in this one. So he's more knowledgeable in terms of what the Force is and how it's more of an energy.
How it affects you on the inside.
Yeah, on the inside. It's more spiritual.
Yeah, and I think he also serves that sort of old fantasy idea of, it's a little rat. What is a little rat going to do? But the little rat is one of the most powerful Jedi.
Oh, yeah, he is.
And greatness comes in surprising sizes. I don't think that's the right way to say it.
I think greatness comes in all shapes and
There you
forms.
go.
That's what you're trying to say. The addition of Yoda is probably one of the greatest things that the Star Wars franchise has, and it's thanks to this movie. Just because it gives us a point of reference more of what the Force is. Because before that, the Force is this mysterious thing that some old kook was talking about.
And he never really
right? He didn't really explain anything, but it's more of the inner like heroism that Luke was trying to discover in his destiny, right? But this one, it allows us to explore like the fundamentals and the principles of the Force by having a person who's encompassed everything about it.
The Force is a lot more tangible because a lot of that is based on like existentialism. Yeah, so it's the idea that you are here, but you're a part of a greater purpose, and there's a greater. The only thing that blocks you from accomplishing what you're supposed to accomplish is you, and you not believing that you can do what it is that you want to do. And I think a lot of that you can take that home when you watch the movie now, because in the first one, it's just a part of the plot, but here it's an idea.
C-3PO and R2-D2, I think, in the first one, had a more prominent role in that they had to deliver the message and do all this. And this one, they weren't. They were just, the lovely characters that they were supposed to be, and kind of, I would say, used to like change and transition into other scenes.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what even in the first one that's what their function are. They really just sort of like when you can't figure out how to get to the next scene, just make a little skit happen.
I think the most famous one is when C-3PO gets shot up. That's kind of just changes
On
to the
Cloud
scene.
City.
Kind of tells you, oh shit, there's gonna be some trouble on Cloud City. What was the other one? R2-D2. It had to be the ship. Something about the ship.
Dagobah?
Yeah, right?
Well, when they crash onto Dagobah and he clashes in the water, I don't think there's really.
No, well, before they crash, they're in there, and R2-D2 just talked to him, and he's just like, yeah, there's not much life form, but there's something there. Kind of like transitioning into there's gonna be Yoda there. Darth Vader. Let's talk about Darth Vader for a bit, in that he has a bigger role in here now as the oppressive Empire dog.
After you find out that he's Luke Skywalker's father, it starts to make sense, but he's on a mission beyond his mission. Like, he really, really wants to go find his son. And I think there's subtle ways that they sort of weave that into the narrative that I think made his character a lot greater than he was in the first one. Like, it gets a little more prominent in Return of the Jedi, but in this one, I think that was the start of, like, there was something more to his search for Luke.
Like, what do you mean? Can you explain? Like, when he says...
He's just so driven and obsessed
he is.
with getting him. They make it like it's because the Emperor wants him to turn Luke, but even the Emperor didn't even suggest that. Yeah, Darth Vader suggested
he said he could turn him into an ally. That's true. I never thought about that until
There's just something very subtle about that I think is great. They're a lot more
complex.
Yeah.
Complex in that that he is evil for everything that he's done, but he still loves, and that he still wants to love his son.
Or the idea of having a son is something that.
No, I'm sorry. The success of the first movie just told Fox to throw a shit ton of money because there was better effects in here, or at least clean effects.
Yeah.
There wasn't, the struggle of the first one.
There is a struggle. These are seamless. To be honest, every single visual effects shot, maybe the stop motion animation is a little dated, but everything else is just on point. And it's amazing. This is 40 years ago. These are toys flying around green screen, and it's better than any CGI I've seen in a while.
In a while?
Well, yeah. Well, what CGI?
Okay, I've seen some stuff that can't be good.
Is as good as the CGI that we have
doesn't
now.
matter. In the first video, we're talking about how there's the black screen that different colors. They weren't so visible in this one.
Yeah, it probably like one or two, but not really.
Not like all the other shots and stuff, and even space in general, like with the asteroid scene. There was a lot of fucking just asteroids coming that you really couldn't see any of that movement that we were talking about earlier, and it just seemed so seamless.
It seemed like they learned from their mistakes, or from the things that they couldn't control, and they learned how to control it from the first movie, and it's perfect.
The music in this movie,
yeah,
I mean, just that
absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that one song that you love the most, which is what is it?
Yeah, the Rebel Fleet.
The Rebel Fleet.
At the end. I can listen to that song like a real song on my iPod. I love that fucking song. Every movement in the soundtrack is just great. And then, of course, this is the introduction. This is the movie that introduced the infamous Imperial March theme, which is the Darth Vader theme.
Sorry.
It's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah. And you told me the fun fact about that is that it's not in the original movie. Like it wasn't like that. It wasn't so big.
Whenever Darth Vader or the Empire appeared on screen in the first one, it was just like a low, rumbly sort of theme, but it had nothing. It had no resemblance to the Imperial March. And then even when the Imperial March was in Empire Strikes Back, it's since been changed in the special editions to be more
fanfare.
Yeah.
Watching it again after so many years, I just how you do. This is a great movie where you start to nitpick and you start to find these little moments, and there were a lot of little funny moments in this one. Like one of the first ones that we noticed was, I guess, because Vader is so determined to find Luke, his son, he's killing off these people like left and right. Like,
yeah, his admirals.
Like 3 admirals die, and
I always thought that was like a cute little reoccurring joke. It just happens throughout the whole movie, and all these guys are just like, "Please don't promote me. Please don't promote me."
And they all get so scared when they said, "Don't fail me, Admiral." They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna fail him," and he just force chokes them, and they're just dead in the next scene. Of course. We had mentioned that Luke gets in an accident before filming this movie, but man, he looks so different. Yeah. It was so weird.
Not as bad as the holiday special, but it ain't A New Hope, Luke.
I get over it pretty quickly, but at first, when he reveals himself in the ice, you just tell it's all puffy. And then, when all that sequence happens, when they find him, they bring him back, and they put him in the hospital, and he wakes up, and he's all scarred up, you're like, is that the real scars? Like, is that really what he looks like underneath all that makeup? Or is that bullshit? What's going on? And it's like, well, you don't know.
Mr. Colt 45 himself is introduced in this movie as Lando Calrissian, played by the smooth and suave Billy D. Williams.
Hello, what have we here?
He was one good-looking, sexy black man.
He was, and
that's what Star Wars was missing. The sexy black man.
Black men in general, but sexy at that. And his perm was totally just great. It wasn't wet. It wasn't drippy. He wasn't using that.
There was no Soul Glow.
No Soul Glow, no Aquanet. That was all. That
was all his hair.
That's actually. Did you know a fun fact that they filmed his hair separately on green screen and then they superimposed it into his head?
Why?
In the movie, because no black man's hair can be so smooth.
Are you serious?
No, I'm just kidding. Oh. Lando really doesn't have a character, but he brings so much into that role that He's unforgettable.
And again, after many months, I started to realize certain things that I question now. Like one of the first ones was in the asteroid field scene where they're exploring and fixing their ship inside the cave. Like I didn't understand how they were able to go outside, like the ship.
Because movie, man.
I understand. Oh my God. But the nerd in me wants to know. Okay, so all right, I'll let it go that this is a sci-fi movie and all that stuff. Okay, but there's this organism that lives in space, right? But what is he breathing?
Nothing. Well, there's some organism that can survive in space.
Bacteria.
Yeah, and
But
that
not-
little. I was gonna call it a tar baby. That's not what it's called.
Oh, the little worm thing.
Yeah, the water bear. But okay, but granted, they can't survive in that. So even if they were inside of him, even if they had breathing apparati, whatever. Even if they had those things on, the minute they walked out that ship,
They would have
ship
exploded.
froze. They either exploded or froze to death.
Yeah.
And yes, I get that scientifically.
Yeah,
I get
right.
that too. But
They
it's a
should have.
fucking movie about
Boom! It
people-
should have been like sludge people.
swords
now.
made out of light and fucking
I just didn't understand it.
giant monkeys, and you fucking nitpicking that.
I'm just, whatever. Fuck you. What about you? Did you find anything that you needed to nitpick?
No, because this movie is perfect.
You fucking liar. You're a
It's
fucking
perfect.
liar.
What am I lying about?
The cake.
I nitpicked stuff because you started saying it. So then,
But then it
you
started
ruined
making
my
sense.
experience. But it shouldn't. I should have just been ignoring those
Oh
things.
my God,
But
I can't believe
in Dagobah, Luke Skywalker goes to confront his greatest fear in a cave. The first thing we thought was, why is there a and Yoda says the cave is filled with the dark side.
Yeah.
Why is there a cave on Dagobah with the dark side in it? That don't make sense. And then like our snakes and lizards, the inherently dark side creatures, they just living and doing their stuff and trying to be who they are. That don't
And spiders.
Yeah.
And why are there snakes inside Yoda's hut? Does he eat them?
Yeah, and Luke don't even get scared. He just brushes it aside like
Yeah.
it's part of the decor. But you're not supposed to do it. That's not the point of it. The point
I know
was,
it's not the point of it. It's what the cave represents and what he's trying to
what it's
undergo.
foreshadowing.
Yeah, I understand that. But just being a person who's watching it objectively, I just have to question these things.
Okay.
I didn't watch it just as a fan. I was watching it as a fan and as a person who wants to see. I can't handle you right now. What about the additions that they had? now?
George Lucas's little war on his own art. You know what? This one is the best one. All the additions that he adds to this movie actually make a whole lot of sense. It enhances the movie. It does away with bad character designs like the what is the thing called, the Wampa, or not the Wampa, the little abdominal snowman thing that attacks Luke.
It's abominable, snowman, not abominable. He's not a muscle.
The abdominals, the dominoes,
Abominable.
the abdominal. The abominable snowman that attacks Luke is the original design of that creature was terrible. It looked awful, and they replaced it with a better working,
version.
What do you call it? Jim Henson creature. And so that makes sense, you know. And there's a CGI added, which makes sense on Cloud City. It makes
One that didn't make sense is why change the voice actor for the original Boba Fett. That one was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we've come to the end, and so I have to ask you what your rating is, even though I think I know what it is.
I gave it a 10 out of 5. This is an absolutely perfect movie. Every time I watch it, I'm excited to watch it.
And you fall asleep.
Well, you know what? I'm tired sometimes, but when I'm not tired and I'm watching Empire Strikes Back, I am endlessly fascinated, and I find something new to like about this movie every time. The screenwriting is excellent. The acting is, Star Wars caliber acting, but it serves the story. It's great. It's a fucking great movie. It's one of the greatest movies of all time.
I give it a 5 out of 5. I'm not gonna be so 10 out of 5 like you, but yeah, I agree. It's a phenomenal movie, structure-wise. It's all over the place in terms of what I guess a good screenplay is, but it's genius. It's genius how they did it, incorporating the first. And even I think into the third one, how they do it. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Thank you guys for joining us for this special episode of the Star Wars Celebration Through the Glass Table. We're not so far away. We're so excited. I have to say it again.
From the date that we're filming this, there's 8 days left.
8 days. 8 days.
That's
and
a week.
Oh my god, we can't wait. I'm so excited. I have my tickets. I already know my schedule, so I'm good to go. Anything else you want to add? No? Well, thank you guys. Please let us know how we're doing in the comment section and continue watching. And thanks.
Bye.
May the force be with you.